Does the universe require a creator? The first cause argument says yes. It solves a major problem. An endless chain of past physical events is logically impossible. To see why, pick a single physical object, like our sun, and trace its history backward. Our sun was formed by collapsing gas clouds, which were forged by older, dying stars, all the way back to the absolute beginning of space and time. But here's the friction. At that very first moment, nothing could cause itself to exist, because to create yourself, you would have to act before you actually exist. Anything that begins to exist needs an outside trigger. That rule is the principle of causality. If all space, time, and matter had a beginning, their ultimate cause cannot be physical. It must exist completely outside those boundaries, as a timeless, uncaused trigger. So tracing that single sun's history all the way back to the dawn of time doesn't just leave us with a mysterious cosmic explosion. It points directly to a necessary, uncaused creator.
How did everything begin? To answer that, we have to find the uncaused first cause, because every single physical object we see requires a prior trigger to bring it into being. So imagine rewinding the entire observable universe. Stars, galaxies, and energy shrink backward until space, time, and matter hit absolute zero. But absolute nothingness has no potential to act or change, because by definition, nothing comes from nothing. Yet the physical universe does exist. This means space and time had a definitive starting point, but they could not have caused themselves before they even existed. So whatever triggered the universe must exist completely outside of it. To create time, the initial cause must be timeless. To create space, it must be spaceless. And to create matter, it must be immaterial. This necessary trigger starts the entire chain of existence without ever needing a starter itself. And this uncaused, non-material initiator is exactly what classical apologetics defines as God. So when you look up and see the billions of stars in the night sky, you are looking at the ongoing, explosive result of that one uncaused, timeless spark.
The argument from contingency asks a very simple question. Why is there something rather than nothing? Normally, we explain an object's existence by pointing to whoever built it. But take a single person standing in a city. You and the buildings around you don't hold the reason for your own existence. You rely entirely on outside materials and prior events to be here. In philosophy, that dependency is called being contingent. And if we zoom out to the Earth or the solar system, these massive bodies are also just contingent objects formed from prior cosmic dust. Pull back to the entire web of countless galaxies, and we hit a logical trap. If every single item inside the universe is dependent on something else, then the universe itself is just one massive collection of dependent things. It still needs an outside explanation. To avoid an impossible infinite chain, the explanation must ultimately stop. It has to anchor in something uncaused, a reality outside of space and time that exists by its own very nature. So when you look at the night sky, realize that this entire physical cosmos with its billions of galaxies ultimately rests on a single uncaused foundation, holding everything in existence and keeping it all from fading into nothingness.
When classical theism argues for a source of existence, here's the twist. It doesn't point to a man in the sky. To see why, look at a single glowing particle of matter to trace how existence actually works. This particle is dependent. It only exists right now because of outside forces, and those forces rely on deeper quantum fields, which depend on the fabric of spacetime, which are governed by the underlying laws of physics. But here's the logical trap. If every single layer of the universe depends on a deeper physical layer, what holds the bottom layer up? An endless stack still requires a solid floor. The chain must ultimately terminate in a base layer of reality, a foundation that is absolutely not dependent on anything else to exist, a transcendent reality that exists by its very nature, completely uncaused and outside of space and time. Philosophers call this a necessary being. And this ultimate uncaused foundation is what Christianity identifies as God, not just another object inside the universe, but the infinite source holding it all together.
which means that single glowing particle from the beginning only exists right now because it is actively sustained by that uncaused foundation.
The universe isn't just here. It follows incredibly ordered mathematical patterns. Science is amazing at describing the laws of nature, but why are there consistent laws to describe at all? Take planetary orbits. They follow predictable motion, flawlessly matching abstract equations. And physics works everywhere we look. Zoom down to the microscopic level, and atoms obey those exact same rules. Even the molecular structure of your DNA is dictated by strict geometric order. This is where it gets weird. Mathematics is a conceptual language, built entirely inside the human mind. Yet somehow, these abstract concepts flawlessly command cold, mindless physical matter light years away. The sheer readability of the universe, the fact that these rules work identically everywhere, points to a fundamentally rational foundation to reality, rather than brute fact randomness. Every scientific discipline relies on one massive, unprovable assumption, that the cosmos will make mathematical sense tomorrow, exactly like it did today. So every time we look up into the dark sky and successfully calculate a brand new cosmic discovery, we are proving that the universe is written in a rational language, one that our minds are perfectly tuned to read.